Hello and welcome to another Honest Tool Reviews. I have finally gotten power in my shed. You might have saw that video. And I've finally removed everything so that the tools line the big wall. Then nothing is really stored away that I might need. And that everything is kind of categorized by what it is. And with that, I'm finally able to start doing actual mechanic work again without digging through shit left and right. I would like to do one single tool review that is very, very different. Um, because it's not a gun review that I do that some people have started to know and love. No, 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 no. This is a review of a air tank and a air compressor that are separate. They're separate things. I have put them together, and I can show you what I've done while actually giving two different reviews. I'm going to have to move the camera for this, but while we're here, I have this box from outside. It's full of trash. It's a Central Pneumatics air tank. It is just the air tank. Just the air tank. And it's a 11-gallon portable air tank. Holds 125 max PSI. Standard tire chuck gauge, 3-foot industrial gauge hose included. Built-in carrying handle. It is designed for, just generally inflating tires and things. And I have the hose. The hose is right here. Wait, the hose. Why is the hose not attached, you say? We'll get to that. So, if you see me turn on this, it is my air compressor. It is off and on. It is on now, and it is holding at about 90 psi. Why 90 psi? Well, it seems that it doesn't quite get to 100, probably because it is sideways, but I am running out of room in here. I'll have to make a special shelf for it and bolt it down before I'm able to get 100 psi out of it. It's probably to do with the orientation. It is sideways, and that's probably a number of kinds of bad, but that's okay. Why is it okay? I'm already getting a lot more out of it. Because there's the 11-pound tank, 11-gallon tank. And this, of course, is a 6-gallon tank. And that gives me 17 gallons. Now, 17 gallons air? Yes, 17 gallons of air. If you look, it's at 100. I have a black pneumatic hose running down. And the cylinder currently reads 90. It's matching what it reads up there. If you look further, I have a handle where I can turn on and off the air to the three-way chuck. This three-way chuck has an open one where I can plug in something extra. And for the meantime, I am using this full 25-foot black pneumatic hose to run from one to the other. I will be decreasing that and putting a short yellow springy hose on at some point, but it's not been a big rush. And I think it's 200 feet of orange hose here. And how it works is, all of the hoses in the bucket run here, and it's connected. Now the thing is, when the air compressor up here cuts on, the air runs to this three-way, which means air also goes out this as it fills up the tank. Well, as long as the hose isn't leaking and it's in good condition and you're not using anything, the air fills up and the air hose fills up and the tank does its fill time, and then everything's full and at 100% capacity. And the hoses don't really act like an air tank, but they can hold 125 psi. So it does restrict and hold that air pressure, and it just helps push everything into the tank, and the tank gets to its maximum capacity, and then you can use the air, and you don't lose any of that compression trying to fill the hose. A lot of times people put little units in their shops, and when they connect the hose, the tank is already full. So then the tank fills the hose with air, and then it drops enough that it has to cut on. So you immediately have to hear it running. I have a little while before it cuts on. So much so that all of this didn't really even drop it any. And that means I can, take all of this wood back here. That just proves that the that the connected air compressor is connected to the bottom tank, which is feeding my hose, which is the point of letting it cut on and run. And it won't run very long because I didn't get it very low. It'll run just long enough to fill up, and it is a smaller one with a smaller motor, so it may take it longer than someone's industrial size, but works pretty well. And I've had it for a while, so let's break it down. The air compressor is just an air compressor on a tank. It's a 6-gallon tank, and it's very nice. I enjoy it, and I appreciate it. It was a Christmas gift, and I am so happy to have it. It has gotten me through a lot of flat tires. People that know me know I go through tires. All of these are spare tires in case something happens, because I go through a lot of tires a year. I'll be going down the road on a tire I've had for 3 weeks, and it'll just shred. I don't know. And don't start this shit with the you need an alignment thing. I go probably every 2 months to get an alignment, not because my vehicle won't hold one. I have a lifetime alignment at Firestone, and just because it's free, I'll go get another alignment, and they'll be like, here's your alignment again. We didn't have to change anything. It's good. And I'll just be like, well, good. Now I know. But sometimes it's off and it has to be fixed. And they also say, well, this tire is doing this or this tire is doing that. So I have a little bit of leadway in knowing what's going on with my vehicle, and they're quick to tell me when something else happens. But I've used this air compressor for several years to pump up tires, like on my trailer, and I've used it to, blow things off in the shed, and inflate things. I have taken it with me camping to inflate inflatables. I have an inflatable kayak. It works pretty good for that, but you're not supposed to. I have used it on inflatable air mattresses before the air mattresses started coming with the inflator in them. Now I just use that and a 12-volt adapter, but it works pretty good. Say hi. Say hi. Oh, say hi. Okay, he wanted to be a part of the video. Yeah, I mean, it's still running, and that's part of the reason why I put the air tank on it. It's just slow because it is a Harbor Freight cheap model, and it's going to be a little on the slow side. It is a Central Pneumatics yellow air tank, and the 6-gallon air compressor is a central pneumatic air compressor. I was wrong. I was very wrong. It actually says 3 gallons, which means the 6 gallon that I had is the one that I gave to my dad. So I did have 2. I had a 3 and a 6. Looks like I gave the bigger one away. Okay, so instead of having a 17 gallon, I actually have a 14 gallon. Which isn't bad, because as you see, I can add on a tank all day long. Getting relatively close to cutting off. Working its way to 95. I just want to capture it cutting off. Sitting at 95 now. Maybe it will hit 100. Let's find out. And it's off. For those of you who do not like loud sounds, I do apologize. That is unfortunately the nature of an air compressor. However, it does have advantages over electric, including when the power goes out. If you have already charged the tank like this, you have a little while to use before you actually start losing power and before it eventually goes empty. It will hold inevitably because it doesn't leak, or at least it doesn't at the moment. And alternatively, it can be used to do things that electrical just quite can't. It's not that electricity isn't doing this, it's that the electricity creates a different type of power. Pneumatic power is an energy that is compressed and it's being held until it's released. Much like electricity is not, deadly until it's released. incorrectly. However, this power can be used for a number of things, um, such as running a die grinder, small little handheld tools. I actually have been using it recently to blow my husky's loose fur off, um, in part with a dog brush, but it really helps oof the stuff away. Because you should see the living room when we don't brush him. Oh my god, it's ridiculous. So it helps a lot, but also this tank, just the tank, has been used for a long time to fix flat tires that I've been having, or inflate tires, or adjust air pressure, check them. I have bicycles that, keep getting a need for inflations. I mean, I do. I have three just sitting over there staring at me, telling me that I'm fat and lazy for not riding in the last couple of months. I highly suggest a little do-it-yourself kit like this where you've put together a little extra. It doesn't hurt to have a little extra. The tank was probably $100. The air compressor with the tank. And I could be wrong. It just seems like a lot of prices have gone up recently. Then the actual air tank was only about $60 for an 11 gallon, whereas at Walmart you would have paid $50 for a 7 gallon. So although it's not quite double, it's $10 more for almost double. And you get the ability to walk around their entire pneumatic section over there and buy the parts that you need to do this. If anyone is interested in how I went about this and the better ways to go about this than the way that I did it, feel free to ask me in the comments below or message me and request a video, and I will go through a full description of what I've done here. I can draw it out, and I can actually express better ways to do it that I didn't do, both because of time and money, as well as resources. Certain things you just have to order sometimes because people just don't keep them in stock, but it doesn't matter. That's the portion of the video where I show you what I've got, and I do give this a 4 out of 5. Where I wish it was bigger, unfortunately, comes with an increase in cost. They can't just sell them cheap no matter what size they are. So I'm going to give it 4 out of 5 because I would love a bigger one, but I just don't have that kind of money. And if I stood it up over here, I couldn't open the drawers on my toolbox. So I would be remiss to say that they all come with give and takes. There is no perfect air compressor for anyone. So I can't give it just a wonderful score. It's not perfect and it may not fit your needs, but it most certainly fits mine. And along with that need being met, back and forth, this and that, the hoses are both Diablo brand, I believe. And then the tank is a Central Pneumatics, just like this. I would give it a 5 out of 5 because it does exactly what it's supposed to do. It is exact forewarned size. It's not struggling to get full. This is struggling to fill it. And it's not struggling to fill it because it's an extra tank. It's struggling to fill it because it's older, it's weaker, and the electricity out here is being ran all the way from the house, plus through all of this to get over here. So there's a lot of electrical drop, which means the motor's not working at optimal conditions, and it's also old and it's an oilless. It's going to break eventually, and when it does, I'm just going to have to accept that it's broken. But until then, it's been working really good, and the tank isn't at fault for that. The tank has done its job perfectly. Until just recently, though, I had not finished installing it in this mess of a shop. So I've been unable to truly use it for a long period of time, but I have had it, and I have had it set up before. One of the uses that I have for the air hose being ran the way it is because I can also use that secondary inlet outlet to add another compressor or add another tank. So I can double the compressor speed to reach full capacity, or I can add an extra tank and increase storage. So I have two directions in which I could go up, and I could potentially put another like two-way or three-way on that one and do both. Keeping in mind, I am aware that if I put another compressor on here, it will not speed up by twice as fast, and it will have more space that needs to be compressed. So it will both give me a little more storage and still not speed up that fast. But I'm just listing the options that you have, that I have, that we have. And that one being open is just because I haven't expanded further. I don't have that big of a need for any larger pneumatic stuff, but I most certainly could. And in the future, if I do require a big drum, I may take an old LP gas cylinder, like a 100-gallon LP gas cylinder that no one's allowed to throw away, and grind it from head to toe, get it nice and clean, polish it up, spray paint it nice bright white or whatever, and then put the appropriate sized pneumatic receptacles on the top where the gauge and all should be, and drag it in here and make it a part of my setup, because something like that would probably be practically free. Somebody would be offering to pay me to get rid of it, and I don't. So that's an option that people can do. However, I give the 11-gallon Central Pneumatic portable air tank a 5 out of 5 for being flawlessly exactly what you expect. And the Central Pneumatic 3-gallon tank and air compressor a 4 out of 5 because it's an air compressor. And that's just where it's going to sit. I'm never going to give 5 out of 5 to an air compressor. It could fill up a 200-gallon tank like this and be done, and I'm still going to be like, yeah, no, because some people don't want that out of an air compressor. That's a lot of power being consumed all at once, and probably very loud. There's give and take in a lot of things, but that's this video for you. I know I kind of rushed through it, just kind of showed you some things. But if you're actually interested in knowing how this setup works from end to end, what components were used, I mean, I have some components that I didn't even use, and I may take them back, I may not. Feel free to ask in the comments below, and if I get, even if it's just one person that asks, I'll do a video and explain to it and draw out the principles of what exactly is happening. And I hope to see y'all in that video. If no one's that interested, I'm sorry, but I hope that this gave you an idea about what you can do with a little air compressor if you don't have room for a bigger one, or if you can't afford a bigger one at the moment, you just need something at the moment, and then you decide to upgrade. I will say, very, before you leave, before you hang up, before this video is over with, the switch right here, it's an off switch, allows me to shut off the tank so that I can, disconnect the hoses, and I can take the pancake with me somewhere, and it's still full. I disconnect the hose, and it's still full. And then down here, this is turned off, so this is still full, and I can take the pancake with me wherever I need to go. Likewise, I can disconnect this and this, and keep this locked, and I can take this somewhere with me too. Now you're probably wondering, well, one of these is not a female chuck, one of these is a male chuck. You're right, I have a male chuck on here. The way that I get around carrying this with a male chuck end, for some of you that don't know, a male chuck doesn't have an airlock. It's just a straight open plug. The air would shoot out if I was to open it up to use it. Is I have a double-sided female to female. When I put it on the male chuck, it locks the air. That means it goes into the female chuck but doesn't go out the other side, thus locking the air tank at the amount of air that it is and keeps it from being a loss. I manufactured that myself. I don't know anywhere you can immediately buy one, but that's something that I have going on for here. So that's just what I have in my shop, and that's what I think of the tools. Just anyway, just let me know if you're curious about that or have any implications on how I might make it better, in your opinion, or if you're curious about how I've done this, feel free to just let me know. And as always, stay safe out there and have a great day. Bye.